Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here today from both Xebia, an AWS Premier Partner, and Eurail, an AWS customer. I have today with me Daniel from Eurail, Solutions Architect, Katerina from Xebia, Solutions Architect, and I'm Rani, Global AWS Growth Lead at Xebia. And we are very excited to talk to you today about modernization and the different offerings and processes that we go through with our customers. Daniel, it would be great if we can kick off with you telling us a little bit about Eurail.
Sure. At Eurail, we sell both the Eurail and the Interrail train pass. This is a pass that allows our customers to travel all across Europe by train. For that, we have a mobile app, and with that app, our customers can fill in the train that they want to take. They get a digital ticket on their phone, and with that, they're ready to board the train.
And can I ask you to tell a little bit about why we're here together today?
Sure. We have quite a long relationship with Xebia that started in 2019. Even before that time, we were on AWS, but once we decided that we really wanted to launch our mobile app with a cloud backend of AWS, we realized that we need better management of our AWS environments. And we were looking for a professional partner that can actually help us in that. And there we connected with Xebia. And first they helped us in setting up a landing zone that allows us to actually manage all our different AWS environments in a consistent way. And later that partnership extended to financial services that are now offered by Xebia to us. But also green ops that we do, and lastly, why we're here today to talk about the modernization of our BI infrastructure.
Thank you. And speaking of the different paths and options that we've discussed and support Eurail, this is basically how we started the discussion. And this is how Xebia discusses everything with their customers. We view this as a journey in the cloud. And no matter what project or how many years you've been with AWS, we always go through this and we can go back and forth through that point, such as with the modernization project, where we really kind of took you backwards to the very beginning of discovery, of workshops, and what we can do to really understand how to best take you on this journey with us. And as Daniel mentioned, they were looking for professional partners. So the first thing we did was show him how professional we are with AWS. And Daniel, back to you again. Would be great to hear a little bit about kind of your train of thought and why cloud?
Currently, we have a data warehouse that is on-premise. And within the data warehouse, we import data from our e-commerce systems, from the systems powering our mobile app. So basically where our customers travel, which trains they take. And that is a huge amount of data. And we see with our current solution that often we don't have enough capacity to process all that data or have enough capacity to actually run queries on it. Especially if we have promotional periods where we sell a lot, which is great for our company, but it creates problems on the BI side. Also in high season, if a lot of people, a lot of customers are traveling by train, the current data warehouse is actually lagging behind in ingesting and processing all that data. And for us, that was a trigger saying, okay, now we actually want something that can power us and be ready for the future. Since we're already on AWS with all other services that we have, it was a really natural choice to look at how can we move our existing data warehouse to the cloud. And for us, that doesn't mean that we just want to take up whatever we have on premise and move to the cloud. For us, it was really important to see how can we really modernize it and make use of new technologies that are out there to be better prepared for the future.
Can you tell us a little bit about how the process went when we discussed this and you came to ask us, what can we do with BI?
Sure. So we had this idea, okay, we need to modernize our platforms in terms of BI. We also knew that we didn't have the capabilities to do that ourselves. We didn't have the knowledge yet to do this. And that's why we asked Xebia to come in and say, okay, can you help us? Can you show what a modern BI platform would actually look like? And you took that up and showed us, okay, this is what a modern BI platform could actually do, and this is what it can do for Eurail.
Yeah, and they had a really nice base actually there with the landing zone and nice AWS organizational structure. So we took from there and wanted to place the data in one place and make it available for different teams on different organizational levels. And actually we went toward building the basis for the data lake and then further to the BA platform.
Which connects us to innovation. And I think that's one of the first things that you said, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a bit about that?
Yeah, our current data warehouse solution that we have on-prem is actually lacking a bit in capacity. We cannot process the data enough. And that also gives us the idea that, okay, maybe there's more in the data that we're not getting out of that, simply because we don't have the capacity to handle that. So this is something that we really hope to discover with a new data warehouse solution or new BI solution. So some things that we're thinking about is being able to offer our customers actually things that either they might not realize that they want. So for example, we know that a lot of our customers, especially if they're traveling individually, they like to reach out to other people. They like to meet up. So we see it as a chance for ourselves to actually say, okay, here are all other customers of ours that are traveling and that are in the same city as yours, maybe within the same age category. That's already quite a complex query that you would have to run. And at the moment, that data is all in a DynamoDB table, which is not great for querying. But with this new data warehouse or BI solution that we have, we also hope to better predict what our customers are doing. So which destinations would they most likely travel to, or that we can assist our customers better in planning. So we can say, okay, you're started to plan this. Can we use Gen AI, for example, to predict, okay, this would be a next logical stop for you to go to. But we also hope that we can use this for better forecasting. So if we integrate, for example, analytics data from a website, we hope that we can see a spike in traffic maybe in early spring, which leads then to more sales a month later, and then more people traveling in the summer. And that is something that's then quite valuable for us, where we can better predict both the people that we need and the capacity of the systems to support this.
Thank you. And so this is basically where we started the discussion towards this project. And Xebia came out and said, let's start with the POC, because your first question was, how does this look? What can we do here? And that's where we started off with that perspective. But even for the POC, we started with a mini workshop to really understand kind of the drivers and what you were looking for. Can you tell us a little bit about how the process that we took you through towards this felt from your side?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we started with a proof of concept, not necessarily because we didn't believe that the services on AWS couldn't do this, but more for ourselves to actually learn what does this mean? Because the technology between what we have now and where we knew we wanted to go is so much different. It requires new capabilities. It requires new knowledge of our people. And this is something that we really wanted to discover together with Xebia, who has a lot of experience in that. And there it really felt great that we can have this workshop that Xebia could build quickly a proof of concept to show with the different services that AWS already offers. Okay, this is how quickly you can build such a new BI infrastructure.
I would basically ask Katerina to step in here a bit as well, because you had a lot to do with the team. We have an extended team working from the data side at Xebia. If you can talk to us a little bit about the solution.
Yeah, we went actually through what are the expectations from the cloud, and can the expectations support what Eurail want to achieve from moving the solution to the cloud. So from the day one, we actually had out of the box the scalability, accessibility, performance, security, reliability, just following the best practices and implemented the solution on the right way. And that built us a lot of opportunities further to actually talk today about the innovation, Gen AI, and much more.
Right, and when connecting to what Daniel was saying before, as a lot of these services were new to the team, throughout this process, we also made sure and still are making sure that we have different enablement sessions with the team to onboard them more and more to personally use the services, not just rely on our team with that perspective. And as we said, we started with the POC, and that helped us really to scope the project. But when we did the kickoff, we started to understanding we have much more to do here. We started discussing different data sources. And then we kind of stopped again and said, we need the modernization process. And that starts with a full workshop, which we started doing there. And Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that we discovered 50 new data sources that we weren't even in discussion at that point, just because we made sure that each and every stakeholder from the business side was there as well, and not just the technical team that we were talking with up until now. And that is one of the main points that we started discussing, that this needs to be a organizational discussion. And it's a cultural transformation that we are discussing right now within Eurail. And that led us to the discussion during these workshops about the drivers. Because we started from the normal drivers that we always talk with customers when we talk about cloud, definitely about modernization, that they do bring into agility, security, Gen AI, towards different innovative ideas that can come. But then during that workshop, we really heard more and more of the different hurdles that you have today and things that people want to do but aren't doing because they don't have the right access, or they're not aware that they can have that access and that perspective. And then we started finding the underlying drivers to do this project. And that's where it continued to grow with the different opportunities that we mentioned, Katerina.
Exactly.
So Katerina, you and I started discussing with AWS over a year ago when they started focusing on a very specific program focused on modernization, which AWS called MODAX. And we thought together, how can we build an offering towards our customers, such as Eurail, that they could really benefit from them and cover everything that we've just discussed.
Exactly.
Can you please walk us through these phases that we built?
Based on our experience, we know that the biggest challenge is to bring the right people in one place in the right time. So talking about technical people and business people. And that's what actually we did with Eurail. And that's why this modernization journey is fruitful as it is. So the first phase is the assess phase, where we want to bring right people and start the discussion about the vision of the company, about the needs of different departments and the different organizational levels. Based on that, we can define, okay, these are the system and workloads that are currently in focus, and they have different priorities. And based on that, choose the right candidates for modernization. Mm-hmm. Those candidates should align with priorities of the company, but also with showing the best qualities of the cloud out there. So we did that with Eurail. We choose the workloads candidates for POCs, and then we just defined a high-level architecture. This is really important for the phase one, because we want to set up the direction, not just for us to implement the POC, but also for the customer to know what to expect further and how to prepare. Because this is a journey where it's not just building the solution, but learning how to build that solution. So,
and how to work with it.
Yeah, definitely. That's the next phase, that after we do the homework and actually do the architectural decisions and design and build the POC, we are not just going there and do the presentation about, but we have a hands-on experience, hands-on session with a customer where they can just go into details of the solution, try out different code blocks to change and see how it works and deploy together just to see how to deploy this in the cloud. What would be the pipeline? And then talk about the surrounding aspects of the solution. What is the observability? How we are logging and monitoring, or how we are dealing with the security and access permissions and so on. So there is much more than just code put in the cloud to work out there.
And with all these options, I think it's really important to underscore that we always make sure that we're relying on the well-architected framework.
Yeah, definitely. That's the path that we are following all the time. And during these two phases, we have like a POC, which we walk through together with the customer, but also the customer has gained knowledge during these sessions of what to expect and how to implement it further. So that brings us to the next level, which is on the organizational level. It's not just the technical thing that we did together, but okay, how we are moving the wheel on organizational level. So it's a cultural and business transformation that we want to kick off with this modernization journey. And that's now that the team knows a little bit more about the cloud. It's a cloud mindset now that starts working. And okay, what we can use out of the box there? What are the possibilities? Because we are not now in some box. It's open world out there that we can explore.
And I will say, Danielle, that you and I started to discuss that the team is showing more and more interest, that they want more hands-on experience. They want more training with us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is definitely a full path and process that we're working with together.
We are in the best actually phase now, the reinvention and kicking the wheel further. So that's on the process level. But if we go on the technical level, during that first phase, we just want to make sure that the customer understands what path of modernization we are trying to walk further. So that can be like a move to managed databases, or move to open source, or to cloud native with combination of two containers. So that depends on customer needs, the workload nature, and what we can apply there. What is important here, because that phase 1 and phase 2 is really short period, just 1 or 2 weeks. So our team will provide really fast the POC based on the blueprints that we produce over the years of experience. But also that's like more on the infrastructural level modernization. On application modernization level, we also have a collaboration with third parties through AWS, like a CAST that can help us in modernization of the applications itself.
So Katerina, can you explain a little bit the next step? So we have so many paths. It's obviously not one shoe fits all. No. So how do we actually know what is the right path? How do we choose that with the customer?
Yes, so it depends on the case and the requirements and how we want to continue further. So, for example, if we decide to move to managed databases, that's in case when we want to automate infrastructure and around databases. Or we wanted to abstract infrastructure or improve availability. And then we go with the concept to move beyond the relational databases, or maybe to increase resiliency. So in that case, we are choosing AWS Aurora or DynamoDB or RDS, like a databases. In case of serverless, we have a monolithic application and we want to move to domain-driven and microservices, or we want to extend the capabilities of current application. Then we choose AWS services that can actually support the cloud-native development, like Lambda, API Gateway, ECS, EKS, and so on.
And we choose this with the customer.
Of course, together.
Right. So I think it would be great if you and Daniel can discuss a bit about this architecture that was aligned between Eurail and Xebia for this project.
Yeah, exactly. During those workshops, actually, we discovered a lot of sources where data is currently stored, and also we defined that they're from technical aspects are really different. For example, DynamoDB.
Yeah, so we have DynamoDB. So we have data sources that are actually in AWS, but we also have, for example, data sources that are outside in different applications. And we wanted a solution that can integrate all these different data sources and ingest that into one new BI solution.
Exactly, and here we face the challenges that also we want to ingest real data happening in the real time, but also the historical data. And the challenge with the historical data was that applications over time are changing, and the data that they're producing is changed. So we wanted actually to provide the complete data, but also valid data for further processing. So that was a challenge that we actually went together with a nice collaboration between Xebia team and Eurail. And then during the ingestion phase, we put the data in the central place, which we actually choose to be S3 on AWS account. And we choose to build the data lake based on S3. And why we went in that direction? Because of the freedom that it provides. So first we put the raw data because we want all the data to be available. And then to give the freedom to the data team and to other teams to work on the use cases, but not to be constrained by the data itself. And then further, the data can be processed with Glue, which is really rich service from AWS that provides schema discovery, processing of the data, building the catalog, and produce the semi-structured or structured data.
And I think from our perspective, this really sets a common framework that we can reuse. So now we set it up for a number of data sources, but in the future, of course, that will grow, and we need to be able to integrate these data sources in the exact same data warehouse. And I think the great thing about this solution is that it is a template for us to build on and further integrate more data to enrich a whole new BI solution.
Yeah. And based on that, based on the use cases, based on how the data will progress further, we can apply the data governance and with the granularity of which team can access to the cell level of the data. And yeah, that's like building the platform further.
Much to think of. So really going back to what we started the discussion about, the importance of the cultural understanding and the deep understanding of what the drivers are. So we started with the basic drivers that brought you to talk to us about this. Throughout the different workshops and continuous meetings that we have about this, we continue to discover different drivers. Some from you and the technical team around you, some from the business stakeholders that we were discussing, and some from a perspective from leadership as well. Let's look what we can do with Gen AI, which basically came forward because now you have all the data centralized in one place, you have better access to it from that perspective, and it's structured in the way that we've discussed and agreed to have it structured. So it basically opens up all these opportunities for innovation, as you mentioned before. So to conclude our session today, I would say the main point is that it's a cultural transformation. It's a full organization that needs to be part of this and kind of a buy-in into this, because we're not only changing things from the technical perspective, but from a thought process as well, and the work process that you have that is also part of the things that we're discussing today. How do people access the data today? What can they gain from the data, which maybe they didn't do beforehand in that process? And to everyone here, again, thank you so much for your time, for being with us. If you have any questions, anything related to modernization that you would like to talk to us, we are more than happy to do so and support you through your modernization journey. And please do not forget to fill out the survey. Super important for all of us to get your feedback and hear your thoughts. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.